We have a bizarre murder case to tell you about tonight. A man is dead and his stepson is in jail after a fight leads to what's called an atomic wedgie. Police say the two got into a fist fight after the stepfather made remarks about his mother and their upcoming divorce. But then the fight escalated to the point where the stepson pulled his stepfather's underwear over his head.
This is the strange story of Bradley Davis, a 35-year-old man who killed his 58-year-old stepfather, Denver Lee St. Clair, with an atomic wedgie, a prank that involves pulling someone's underwear over their head, usually as a form of humiliation or bullying, on December 21, 2013, in the small town of McLeod, Oklahoma. This is a case that made headlines for its absurdity and brutality, and left many people wondering how a simple prank could turn into a deadly weapon. So, let's find out together. McLeod is a peaceful and rural town in Oklahoma, with a population of less than 600 people. It is the kind of place where everyone knows each other, and where crime is rare. It is also the place where St. Clair and Davis lived, along with St. Clair's wife and Davis's mother. St. Clair was an oil field worker who had been married for over 10 years. Davis was a former Marine who had served in Iraq and Afghanistan. He had moved back to his mother's house after his divorce and was working as a security guard. On the night of December 21, 2013, both men were at the St. Clair residence, drinking and watching TV. But things were about to take a dark and deadly turn. According to Davis, he and St. Clair had a history of bad blood and often argued over various issues. Davis said that St. Clair was always disrespectful and hostile towards him, and that he never treated him like a son. He said that St. Clair also had a problem with alcohol, and that he would become more aggressive and abusive when he was drunk. On that night, St. Clair had consumed a lot of alcohol and was in a foul mood. He started insulting Davis and his mother, calling them names and accusing them of being lazy and worthless. Davis said he tried to ignore him, but St. Clair kept provoking him until he snapped. He confronted St. Clair, and a verbal altercation turned into a physical one. Davis said he punched St. Clair in the face, knocking him to the ground. He then grabbed St. Clair's underwear and pulled it over his head, giving him an atomic wedgie. He said he did this as a way of humiliating St. Clair and making him stop his insults. He did not intend to kill him, or even hurt him seriously. He said he left St. Clair on the floor and went to the kitchen to make a phone call. He said he did not realize that St. Clair was in mortal danger until it was too late. But one of the investigation officers has something else to say, that it was more than just a fight.
In our investigation, we uncovered evidence that led us to believe that it was more than just a fight.
So what was that reason behind this violent act? Why did Davis resort to such an extreme measure? And why did St. Clair antagonize him so much? According to the investigation, the relationship between St. Clair and Davis was troubled for a long time and involved several factors. One of them was money. Davis claimed that St. Clair owed him $7,000, which he had lent him to buy a truck. St. Clair never paid him back and refused to acknowledge the debt. Davis also said that St. Clair was taking advantage of his mother and was living off her income while spending his own money on alcohol and gambling. Another factor was St. Clair's history of violence. Davis said that St. Clair was abusive towards his mother and had physically assaulted her on several occasions. He said he had witnessed St. Clair choking his mother and threatening to kill her. He said he hated St. Clair for hurting his mother and wanted to protect her from him. He also said that St. Clair had a temper and would often lash out at him for no reason. He said he feared for his own safety and felt the need to defend himself. But whatever the motives, the outcome was tragic. St. Clair died from asphyxiation, caused by the atomic wedgie. The medical examiner ruled his death as a homicide and said that the elastic band of the underwear had cut off his airway and caused blunt force trauma to his head. The investigation also revealed that St. Clair had suffered other injuries, such as broken ribs, a fractured skull, and a punctured lung. These injuries suggested that the altercation was more severe than Davis had described, and that he had used excessive force against St. Clair. Davis's actions after the incident also raised suspicion. Instead of calling 911, he called his ex-wife and told her what had happened. He also took pictures of St. Clair's body and sent them to his friends. He then tried to clean up the scene and moved St. Clair's body to another room. He only called the police after several hours and after his ex-wife had urged him to do so. When the police arrived, they found St. Clair's body lying on a couch with a bloody stain on the carpet. They also found Davis's phone, which contained the incriminating photos and messages. Davis was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. His defense was that he had acted in self-defense and that he regretted his actions. He said he did not mean to kill St. Clair and that he was sorry for what he had done. He also said he was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder due to his military service and that he had been drinking heavily on the night of the incident. He pleaded guilty to first-degree manslaughter, a lesser charge than murder, and hoped for a lenient sentence. But the prosecution argued that Davis had acted with malice and that he had shown no remorse for his actions. They said he had deliberately inflicted pain and suffering on St. Clair and that he had tried to cover up his crime. They also said that his PTSD claim was not supported by any evidence and that he had a history of violence and aggression. They asked for a harsh sentence to reflect the gravity of the offense. The judge agreed with the prosecution and sentenced Davis to 30 years in prison, which is the maximum penalty for manslaughter. He said that Davis had committed a heinous and cruel act and that he had shown extreme indifference to human life. The family of St. Clair was devastated by the incident and by the loss of their loved one. They said that St. Clair was a good man who did not deserve to die in such a humiliating and brutal way. They also disputed the cause of death and the portrayal of St. Clair as a violent and abusive person. They said that St. Clair had died from a heart attack, not from the atomic wedgie, and that the wedgie was a post-mortem insult. They also said that St. Clair was a loving and caring husband, father, and grandfather who had never harmed anyone. They said that Davis was a liar who had fabricated a story to justify his actions. They said that Davis had a motive to kill St. Clair because he wanted to inherit his mother's property, and that he had planned the murder in advance. They said that Davis deserved a life sentence, not a 30-year sentence, and that they felt betrayed by the justice system. One of the most vocal critics of Davis was Jessica K. St. Clair Hackney, St. Clair's daughter from a previous marriage. She said that Davis had robbed her of her father and that she would never forgive him. She said that Davis was a monster who had no soul, and that she hoped he would rot in prison. In conclusion, this case is one of the most bizarre and shocking cases in the history of true crime that shows how a family feud can end in tragedy. It will never be forgotten and will serve as a reminder of the importance of understanding the consequences of our actions and of the potential dangers that lurk in everyday life. How fair was the verdict and the sentence given to Davis according to you? Let us know in the comments below and subscribe for more content.